Hi, Pete. I know that you guys have kind of been together and skating for a while, but first official, I guess, practice with Alex Petrangelo today, and I guess what are your initial impressions of having him on your team?
Well, a lot nicer, looks a lot better in our uniform than in a St. Louis uniform playing against us. So I've had the pleasure of seeing him here at the rink over the last couple of weeks while they've done their independent skates preparing for camp. So, I know the player well, having coached against him for a long time in this league, and he's even more impressive in person, both on and off the ice. He's got a great hockey IQ. He loves to talk about how the game, he sees the game being played and systems, and real refreshing. So we've had some good dialogue.
Next question for Pete will come from Ben Goetz with the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Ben.
Hi, Pete. Thanks for doing this. I'm just curious, what's your approach to this camp? Because obviously I'm sure everyone's excited that it's the first day, but you have to get ready so quickly because you have a game in 10 days.
Yeah. The nice thing, Ben, is we've done this before with the bubble camp, and we really like how that camp went and prepared us to go into the bubble for the playoffs, and how we played early in the bubble. I thought, it gave us an advantage, our camp, in our start there, and being able to go undefeated in the round robin. So we haven't changed a whole lot. It's the old adage, you don't change something that's working. And so we've tweaked it a little bit. The difference between the two camps is obviously we don't have an exhibition game prior to starting. So we've kind of mocked in our own exhibition game for one of the nights, and amongst ourselves to simulate a game-like situation. But other than that, we're just trying to do the same things.
Next question today will come from Jesse Granger of The Athletic.
Hey, Pete, seems like the lineup is very similar, at least what we saw today, to last year. I'm wondering, is there a competition you're most excited about looking at in this camp?
I think we've got competition everywhere. We've got competition in net. We've got competition on defense for those, 5, 6, 7, 8 spots. And we've got competition up front, particularly in the middle of the ice. So, there's not one of those that I'm more interested in than others, but, there's definite competition in those areas. And, coaches get excited about that because you usually see guys best.
Next question will go to Vince Sapienza with Channel 5, Las Vegas.
Vince.
Hey, Pete. I'm curious, Kelly talked about yesterday how he was impressed with the fitness levels of the group. Today the guys are talking about everyone looks in mid-season form. I wanted to gauge your impression on the team as a whole, and I guess how they compare today as they did to, the first couple days in camp in the summer leading up to the bubble.
Really, really close comparably. And again, a credit to the group. One thing I've learned about this group is they're self-motivated. You give them a window of opportunity to get together on their own and skate and prepare for a camp. To a man, they're out there and they're taking it seriously, and that starts with our leadership. I think, like I said earlier, I think they saw the benefits of that preparation in the camp we had going into the bubble early in the playoffs in the bubble. So they want to do the same thing. And, as a staff, that's what I see is a group that recognized that something worked, and they've come in great shape and are ready to go again.
Take a few more final questions for Pete DeBoer. Next question for him will come from Ken Bolke with Sinbin.Vegas.
Ken?
How you doing? Last year, Cody kind of bounced back and forth from wing and center. I'm wondering, do you primarily view him as a center or more as a wing? I mean, I know he played center today.
Yeah. Well, I think he can play both. I think a lot of times young centermen come into the league and start on the wing, get their feet under them, a little less responsibility, a little less up and down 200-foot game. The wingers have a little bit of an easier time with the responsibility of playing in this league than do what we ask centers to do. But really, with how we want to play, we're interchangeable. Even on the wing, he's going to play low sometimes. He's intriguing for me as a centerman because you can't find 6'2", 215-pound, playmaking centermen out there. They're really hard to find, and I think long term, that's definitely what he's going to be here.
Next question will go to Danny Webster of NHL.com.
Hi, Pete. Hope you've been doing well. You had Haig and Whitecloud together during the scrimmage today. I was curious, what are you hoping to see from Haig as this camp goes on and hopefully into the season?
Well, you're just looking for growth from the young guys. I really like Nick Haig. I'm a big fan. He was a guy that looked like an NHL player last year, went down during the All-Star break, and with the play of Whitecloud and the fact we were healthy with a lot of depth with Holden and Merrill, just never got an opportunity again. So the depth chart looks a little different this year, and there is opportunity there. And, I think he's an NHL defenseman, and, I'm excited about continuing to watch him here.
We'll go back to Justin Emerson from the Las Vegas Sun for the next question.
Between the schedule, the divisional realignment, the travel, what do you think is going to be the most different thing about this season that you're going to have to get used to? And how do you feel about having to wear a mask behind the bench? That wasn't something you had to do during the bubble.
Yeah. Well, the mask thing's tough. I was on in practice and I was pulling it down to talk. And, I really felt for John Gruden because I've been watching him on the sidelines, and, he's battled with that the entire season. So I can feel his pain. It's hard when you want to communicate to keep that thing over your mouth. So that's something I'm going to have to get used to. I think that the thing that's going to be the most interesting, obviously, is a short season and the sprint right out of the gate, but I've seen that before. I think 12-13 was a shortened season. I was in New Jersey. The interesting thing that we haven't seen here before is the number of back-to-backs. You go in and you play the same team twice. I think we've got 2 situations where we play the same team 4 times in a row. That for me is the most unique aspect, and it's tough to beat a team 2 times in a row, and that's why the playoffs usually never end in sweeps, and you watch college hockey weekends, despite the rankings, it's hard for a high seed to beat a low seed 2 times in a row because it's just human nature. You win the first game, you let up a little bit, the other team hasn't won, so they're desperate. So that element for me is going to be an interesting one that we're going to have to deal with.
Next question will go to Nick Katanika of NHL.com.
Hey, Nick.
Hey, Pete, how are you? Just piggybacking what you just said, I think that plays to your strength as a coach, does it not? Like, this will almost be like the playoffs where, you're in little playoff series playing the same team over and over, breaking them down, making adjustments. How will you approach the regular season differently than you have in the past?
Yeah, I like that. I like that playoff type atmosphere. I think the difference is going to be, it's always the emotional level and the desperation level of the players going into that second game. It's just human nature to take a breath if you've won, and you've got to fight that urge because, unlike the playoffs, every point is going to be critical here with a short schedule.
We'll do one final question with Pete today. That last question will go to Ben Goetz from the Las Vegas Review-Journal.
Hi, Pete. You mentioned, the condensed schedule and all the back-to-backs that you guys are going to have. But I'm curious, you guys are not going to be traveling as much and just taking fewer flights this year with the way the schedule is set up. Because how do you think that will play out and affect things as the season goes on?
Well, having coached in the Western Conference for the last, I guess it's 6 years, I think every Western Conference coach and player is excited about that. Until you coach in this conference, you don't realize the disadvantage some teams are at with the travel and the number of time zones that we change. So on a yearly basis, so I think everybody out here is excited about the fact that that field's going to be a little more level